And welcome to Charlie Mac's D-Day anniversary group build. We all know and love Charlie. He's a cornerstone of the YouTube community. But if you're not aware of his channel, then just check out the description below. Go visit him. He does some great videos. He's a great guy. And a massive thank you to him for organising this D-Day group build. Now, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing 1/44th scale. Which is new to me, and looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing Trumpeter's LCM3 landing craft. Um, we have on the side of the box details of the colours and the decals and how it all goes together. And here we have a short review of the actual kit itself. This is the hull, which all comes in one piece. As you can see, very small, just 4 inches long. We have 2 sprues. This sprue has the larger items on it. I've actually built this now, and I can say that it all goes together beautifully. Precious little flash on there, precious few seam lines. Really impressed with it. The instructions leave a little bit to be desired. Obviously, there's nothing on there for where the decals go, any painting instructions. But if you follow it closely enough, you shouldn't have any major issues. So let's start with the lower hull itself. Nicely molded, nicely detailed. The larger parts, beautifully detailed. I was really impressed with such a small scale, how they managed to get all the detail in. And the small parts very nicely put together as well, like I say, with little flash or seam lines. And then we have the decal sheet as well. Now I'm branching out again. I've decided to use some 3D printed that I got off Evil Bay figures. Um, British sailors. So looking forward to seeing how they go together and how they get printed up. And also we have some tank crew as well, because yes, you've guessed it, I'm going to be putting a Sherman on the landing craft. And here it is. The Revell set, again, obviously in 1/44 scale. This is quite a popular kit. You get 6 vehicles all together, 2 of each that are on the front of the box there. And I'm just going to be using one of the Sherman tanks. The instructions are massive for such a small kit. Very informative. You'll have absolutely no issues at all with colours, decals, etc., etc. And as I'm sure you can be aware, with such a small piece of kit, there's not a lot of pieces that go together. So yeah, very comprehensive, very impressed. Well done, Revell. Now you have 2 sprues, all 3 vehicles are on one sprue, and your duplicates are clearly on the other. Again, no issues at all with flash, beautifully detailed. A few seam lines here and there, but nothing major. So again, had no real issues with the construction of the kit parts here. And you have a few stars, American stars, some numbers, etc., that you can use to go on the finished vehicles. So a couple of mug shots there of the sprues, and let's get on and do some modelling. So we have the hull, we have the propeller shafts and the rudders. Went together beautifully, no issues here whatsoever. The middle sections is basically a middle section that goes into the outer section. Lovely detail. A little bit of an issue with fitting at the front, but we'll come on to that later. And then we just needed to put a few of the side parts on. And this is the middle part before it goes in. Needed a little bit of cleaning up, but again, didn't cause a problem. Now you can put a line on here if you want to, if you want the front part to be lowered and to be raised. I personally didn't go for that. But as you can see, lovely detailing on such a small scale. And then we have the guns and the turret on top for the enclosure. Now, as far as the you basically have 2 choices. You can either use the gun that comes all together, or there are three parts that you can put together to make one gun. Unfortunately, they were quite brittle and fell apart, so I basically went for the gun that was already made. But really, no problem at all. So as you can see, 100 mil long, very small, fully working if you wish it to be. There's a few problems at the back here. You can see that's quite a lip, so that one will need filling in. There's a few little join problems there that need filling, and then at the very front there, as you can see, there was a bit of a join problem. But yeah, just put a bit of filler in there, wait for it to dry, and then just sand it back. These are our little guys that are going to be on the landing craft. I decided to choose three altogether, two on the front and one doing the piloting. Now this is the Sherman. As you can see, it's just the 6 parts, very basic, but again, nicely detailed. This was a bit of an issue with the sprue joins on the tracks, but once cleaned up, not too bad. And to be fair, you can't really see it once it has been put together. I did actually use a knife just to gouge out the lines again, just to add that a little bit of detail. Now, the main body itself, we have some issues around the sides, again from the screw connectors. So that was a matter of getting the sandy stick, sanding it all back, and as you can see, that's all nice and flush now. So very pleased with that. The bottom half, nasty seam line that goes all the way around. Strictly speaking, that's going to get covered up anyway by the tracks, but you know, bells and whistles. So I cleaned all of that off, made sure that was all nice and clean. Again, just scraping back with the craft knife and then sanding it. The turret itself, there was a bit of a nasty seam line going around the actual barrel, so that needs to be cleaned off. And also, as you can see, there's a nasty seam line underneath the plate there. But again, nothing major, just basic modelling. And at this stage, nothing's pinged off to the carpet monster. Everything's still intact. I always snip these little parts off on the turret and just glue the turret in place once the model's been finished. So these are your instructions, very simple 3-stage process, putting the tracks on, the top on, and then putting the turret on. I'm actually going to be leaving it like this and then painting it and then putting it together once fully weathered. Now, it wouldn't be a Jonesy build without a bit of scratch building, so I've decided to put the exhaust stacks on the back, just using some plastic art. So first off, we needed to scrape the rear vent off. That was easily done with a craft knife and then sanded back. And then I just measured a piece of scrap plastic card, the thinnest you can get, rounded off the edges and glued that in place. And then really it was just a matter of making up some shapes, oblong shapes, circular shapes to make the outline of the stack itself. I then started to build the back stack as well, just using fundamental shapes. And once that was done, I just put plastic card on the front and the back, glued that in with CA glue, and then when fully dry, it's just a matter of sanding it back, scraping it back, and as you can see from the back, there's quite an overlap, so I actually used a craft knife just to take the worst of it off, and then very gently sanded that all back into shape. So a very simple process and easily done. So this is the one crew member that we're going to be using. Now for him to fit in the turret, obviously we're going to have to drill out those doors. Now that was quite easily done with the power drill. I made a disc from the rivet maker. That disc was then cut in half to make the two hatches, and underneath I put a strip of plastic card, and we cut the poor chap in half and stuck him on top. And there you can see with the two hatches there either side. I was really pleased how that came out. And there we go. You can see that in closer detail. What I next had to do was just put a little bit of detailing on the outside of the hatches, as you can see, and then the inside of the hatches I just cut another smaller circle obviously cut that in half and then glued that in place. So there we have the landing craft all put together, ready for its paintwork. And yeah, hats off to Trumpeter, did a good job with this kit. Very pleased indeed with the whole model process, and looking forward to getting that one painted. And here we have the tank from Revell, less its undercarriage, because that will be put on. I've put a couple of side plates on there as per reference photos, obviously just to protect the driver and the ammunition inside. They got hit, and that fits in very snugly in there. So really pleased with how that's all come together. And now I'm going to be looking forward to painting that up and getting that weathered. So I'll leave you some photos, guys. It just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed for popping in and checking out the video. A massive thanks to Charlie for organising this group build and for inviting me along. Thank you to all of my subscribers, old and new, for your continued support of my work, and happy modelling.